Thank you everyone. And thank you for joining today. I am Dr. Kirti Uday, Associate Professor and Associate Dean Academics and Student Affairs at IIHMR Bangalore. First of all, I would like to warm welcome all the esteemed panelists present here today from the industry, from the sector of hospital management, public health management, health information technology management, and pharmaceutical management today. And they're going to share their experiences and learnings as well as the takeaway for the student in today's session. I would also like to welcome all the students present over here today. And we know that few of you have already taken admission at IIHMR Bangalore and few are in the planning too. So this forum is actually meant to introduce and connect all the students with the industry mentors of IIHMR Bangalore. So basically, industry mentors plays a crucial role in the growth and development and the journey of students during the postgraduate program at IIHMR Bangalore. They plays important role in context of assisting students for summer internship, dissertation, placement, and also mentoring them in different capacities and taking guest lectures and industry-driven lectures for their students. So they are the one who are directly, indirectly associated with IIHMR Bangalore, and they are actually supporting our students in different capacities. So in this forum, we are going to discuss a few questions with each panelist, and we would like to understand from each panelist how they are helping, supporting, and what is the actually skills required in the industry, which will be helpful for our students to take it further in their postgraduate journey. So with this, once again, welcome to all the panelists and the students present in this forum today. So I would like to introduce the first panelist for today. Kindly allow me to share the screen. So our first panelist is Mr. Guru Prasad. So Mr. Guru Prasad, first of all, is a very dear friend of mine, and he's associated with IIHMR Bangalore from a very long period of time. And he's supporting our students in different capacities, right from assisting during group discussion, personal interview, placement, summer internship, and in many different forms. So Mr. Guru is actually MPhil graduate from Madras University, and he has more than 22+ years of experience in sales and marketing, and he has traveled more than 70 countries for healthcare marketing of products and services. So basically, he's a person behind the international marketing in Narayana Health. He's working presently with IHH as a chief sales officer at Hyderabad, and he has also worked with the key organizations like Fortis Healthcare, again in the capacity of international marketing. So I would like to listen more from Mr. Guru on this. So I will request Mr. Guru if you can quickly introduce yourself more, right from your journey, how you have started, and share some of your motivational story with our students, and then maybe ask a few questions from you. So over to you, Mr. Guru.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kirti. That's a wonderful introduction you've given. It's an elaborative one. Thank you for that. So now the students, like the audience here. So I've been associated with IHMR for a very long time. So to me, it is a passion, to continue with academics along with my profession. So in profession, you get a lot of experiences, especially in sales and marketing, when you come across, especially a product like healthcare. Here, there is nothing tangible to sell. So everything is intangible. So there are services to sell. So we sell the services. What do we sell? The hospital services, the specialties that we sell. So a lot of experiences that we come across, especially with IHMR. So it is a kind of academics, the syllabus that we are in touch with. We constantly interact with the students. Workshops are being conducted, interactive sessions, debates are being conducted. So a couple of sessions was very interesting when I was there personally in the institutes. So, the questions that they pose are really very contemporary. They're really relevant to the present topics. So industry, as an industry, if you see, healthcare is very dynamic. So every day there are changes. What was before is not today. So especially people like me who are continuously in the touch of the industry. So we exactly pinpoint what is basically the changes that are there. What are the opportunities that are going to come up, especially in hospital services? especially in the consumables, medical consumables, disposable industry is a huge industry. So if you see today, uh, the medical tourism is a very big industry. So in the year when we all started in the year 2003, 2004, so it was all in a very, very nascent stage. Today, it has developed to a far, far matured stage. Lot of things to talk, lot of things to interact, debate, know from each other, interaction can be had. So those are some of the things that I wanted to discuss, and that is what I keep my students quite interactive, quite informative. So I always tell them, keep upgrading yourself. Your knowledge should be updated at every point of time. It's not something. So I am with 22 years of experience. I have learned everything. Absolutely not. I keep learning a lot of things. Today, if you look at marketing, is being given through a new form which is known as a digital marketing. Digital marketing is especially a specific vertical, at least in every hospital today. There is a specific vertical. Earlier, it used to be sales and marketing. Today, we have digital marketing, which contributes to a major chunk of the business. So that's what it is. So it's a brief note. Of course, there are a lot of other speakers. In the interest of the time, I restrict myself. So over to Dr. Kirti.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Guru. But still, I would like to add one question.
Yeah.
Since many students, they have interns under you in your role at NH
Mhm.
and IHH as well. So if you can share a kind of feedback, how especially hospital and our postgraduate students, they have performed, what was the key learning? If you can just highlight and connect
Yes, yes.
your
So
experience with our students working with you. Yeah.
yeah, especially, IHMR students are quite informative. They are quite a little bit more intelligent than the normal students from other institutes because they come up with a varied background, with healthcare background, with non-healthcare background. Their experiences, their inquisitive questions keep us very busy. So a lot of things, in fact, when we talk with them, we also see, oh my God, this is what is happening. So contemporary issues they discuss. They don't discuss about the old issues. Futuristic thoughts are with IHMR students. That's something that I've seen myself. That's my personal experience. So most of them, I would be knowing them by name and face because that much of interaction, that much of time that I've spent in, especially with IHMR and their students. So their skill development, their practice, their workshop, their live performance inside the hospital, like especially when they are connected with our hospital operations head, administrative head. Some of the students we have taken them in our own department in sales and marketing. So when I used to handle international marketing, they used to be with us in preparing the business proposals, in preparing the case studies for a particular country, like example, Ethiopia or Kenya or Tanzania, whatever be it, the medical value travels prospects. They are with us in the journey of preparing the case studies. When we prepare a case study, the potential for a particular market, they are with us. They learn, they keep asking questions. So that's something very good. They keep us engaged. That makes us not something that they are not detached. They don't come at 9, leave at 5. They stay with us throughout the day, along with everything, even in the field, they try to be with us whenever we try to go in the field. Like, for example, our field visits are like meeting referral doctors inside a particular state. Sometimes I take them along with me to learn how we talk, how we interact, what kind of questions do we ask the referral doctors, where do we go, like is it a referral hospital or a diagnostic center, wherever it is all related to healthcare. They are with us in the journey. So in that, my experience has always been so positive, so quite optimistic. The students are quite inquisitive and they're quite energetic. So I wish him all the best. So I recently moved to Hyderabad in IHH last 5 months. So I'm still waiting for the first batch from Dr. Kirti to tell me that I need to pick up few students for interns. So I'll be glad to do that. That's my experience with IHMR. Thank
Yeah,
you.
sure, sure. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Guru. And we will connect with you shortly with other audience questions. In the meanwhile, I will request all the students and the audience present in this forum. If you have any question, kindly drop your question at the chat box, and definitely we would be happy to address those. In the meanwhile, let me introduce the next panelist for the day, Dr. Sapna Agarwal. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. So Dr. Sapna is presently associated with HCG Group of Hospital as a Senior General Manager, Operational Excellence Pan India. Again, Dr. Sapna is my old colleague and we are closely associated. We have, in fact, I have started my journey at Kukla and Dhirubhai Ambani Hospital, and Dr. Sapna was very instrumental in actually mentoring me during that time, I think long time back in 2005-7 at KDH Hospital, Mumbai. So with this note, I would like to welcome Ms. Sapna Agrawal. So she is a qualified management graduate from Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, and also a postgraduate in hospital and healthcare management from Apollo Institute of Hospital Administration, Hyderabad. So she is an experienced healthcare leader with over 18 years of experience in profit and loss management, operational excellence, new business development, people management, greenfield projects, and so on. And presently, she, as I mentioned, she is associated with the HCG Group of Hospital as a senior general manager under and taking care of the operational excellence activity. So welcome, Dr. Sapna. And first of all, I will request you that please elaborate more or please talk more about yourself, introduce yourself more. And also if you can talk about what is operational excellence, since this is your designation. So if you can really highlight what operational excellence is all about, and I will come back again on this. So over to you, Dr. Sapna.
Thanks a lot, Kirti. It has been very, good of IIHMR to invite all the industry specialists and actually make their student interact. In fact, like it helps us also when we connect with the student to stay more relevant and more curious about what is happening in today's healthcare, how the new gen is thinking about how healthcare should be. So I just wanted to, actually talk a little bit about how operations function, how P&L functions, how actually administrator play a very crucial role apart from specialists like clinician, nurses, what role they play, and how we actually play as an administrator very key role in sustaining the business so that we are able to stay relevant in the industry and also the business is thriving and growing. So I'll just talk a little bit first about how healthcare functions. So if you see a typical hospital, the way it functions is there is a business head. I'll talk about a little bit about corporate hospital. I know that most of you have read a little bit about it since you have enrolled in the program. So there is a business head, which is typically a P&L head or probably a unit head who actually heads a entire business of a unit, like any other business. And then there are various verticals under them. That is like operations, sales, marketing, quality, nursing. Then there is a medical admin vertical. So these are various verticals, and then there is a SEM vertical. Now, when you see this entire structure, similarly, a typical structure is repetitive at a corporate environment where there are chains and groups of hospital where there is a CEO. I'm sure that you would know about the CEOs of many large size hospital in India. You would have read about them. So if you say that, let's say we have global healthcare, we have healthcare global and global healthcare. So there are two, there are two hospital chains. Then there is Fortis, Max, Apollo. There are many. So you'll see that there is a CEO. Then there are operations head like us. Then there are sales and marketing head like Guru Prasad. And then there are many more, right? So if you actually see, we had a particular chain, but the role of this particular, let's say, operations head is both top line and bottom line. When I say top line, it is just for all of you to understand that introducing some small terms with you so that when you come into the study regimen, you know that what is it that you are going to do. So if you see top line, it comes from sales, marketing, and also ensuring that people who are actually the patients who are coming to us, we give them best of the service so that they are staying with us and they understand that this is a platform where they can come and take service. In healthcare in India, if you see, it is more of demand and supply. It is not like we have a waiting time where there is, government is playing a role where, they are actually getting a lot of patients because there are government institutions as well. But there is a lot of patients who actually come to private hospital. If you'll read a little bit about it, the government and the private healthcare sector, how does it function? So the private healthcare sector, the sales, marketing, operations vertical, they play a very key role in ensuring that there is a demand and there is a supply management which is happening constantly. So if you actually see operations vertical, it acts as P&L, top line, what do you say, ensuring that the top line is healthy and also ensuring that the cost is managed. So in cost, if you see, there are verticals like supply chain, there are verticals like HR, there are verticals like, if I would say, um, cost verticals are like general admin, where there are housekeeping, there are maintenance, there are security. So these are various type of cost ingredients of a P&L. And when it comes to, top line, there is all sales, ensuring that all the revenue are booked under here. So to maintain a healthy sales, it is very, very important that, or a healthy top line, you have to ensure that the volume of patients who are coming in to you have the best of the services, because there is too much of, I would say, supply in the market, where there are too many healthcare or too many institutions fighting for the same share of pie. And hence, to stay more relevant in terms of service and business, you need to have various verticals like operations, sales and marketing and everything, like Guru was saying about digital marketing. So I'm just trying to put the pieces together for you. How does operational excellence fit into this? So earlier people used to say that when patient come into the hospital, you have to provide them best of the service. Fundamentals remain the same, nothing changes. Okay. But how do you ensure that it remains cost effective? How do you ensure that it remains very, very relevant when it comes to the latest digital experience of the patient? How does it remain relevant with respect to ensuring that whatever you are providing is measurable? I'll give you a very small example of operations is like day-to-day business, ensuring that the day-to-day business is provided efficiently and in a very, very cost-effective manner, and also ensuring that you are in the top of your game when it comes to your leadership positioning in a industry. So when a patient comes to hospital, he looks for three key ingredients. One is the best of the clinician, best of the services by the nursing, and best of the services by rest of the staff. So the best of the services by rest of the staff is actually operations and operational excellence. And if I have to just summarize two more things for you, whenever a new hospital opens, I know that there are brownfield, greenfield industry that stays greenfield as one of my, most, what do you say, my favorite area, wherein one is able to design from scratch, from building, designing, planning, commissioning. So operations plays a very, very key role there. What should be the size of bed, how the hospital should function, what the patient experience is going to be, how the patient flow would be. So I know that all of this might sound little bit strategic for you at this point of time, but as you would join, I'm sure there are very, very good professors that you have who will ensure that you are handled through your entire journey, so that you understand healthcare much, much more. And you should know also how to run the business effectively once you join all of us in this industry. So waiting for all of you to come in this side of the chair and join with us, have been mentoring, guiding the student. They are really excellent. When their questions come to us, it really makes us think that yes, this can be done better. So as it is already mentioned by Guru that it is dynamic. So every day you have to question yourself, and healthcare has no boundaries, believe me. After 20 years also, I think that yes, there is so much more to do for all of us. So with that, Kirti, thank you very much for this opportunity. It has been wonderful for me to
Sure.
join you guys. So thank you.
For sure. Thank you, Ms. Sapna. But one question I would like to take up here, can you suggest any two takeaways for our students, like during their post-graduation, what two things they should learn, which is like a kind of must for them in terms of joining and learning during postgraduate program, which will actually help them in their career path as well?
So I think in any service industry, they have to ensure that they go to the shop floor, for sure. Be it sales, marketing, be it operations, be it anywhere. They should go and they should understand a hospital from front end. That is a must. And I'm sure that, I have been seeing the student, they get enough amount of opportunity from IIHMR to go and explore how actually hospital or healthcare or even public health functions. So I am sure that the student should definitely take this opportunity to the best to ensure that they are present on the shop floor. That is one. Second, they should definitely read a lot about healthcare progress. There are so many journals which are available in your library to connect what is actually happening most relevant in healthcare business, and try to connect with industry mentors during their entire journey, which already IHMR provides as a platform, and ensure that they know about the business and how it functions both. So if they are able to tie the thread, it will become much more meaningful for them. They'll be able to choose their career path very early in their association with IHMR. That will make them understand how they can make the most meaning out of it. They'll be able to ask relevant questions. They'll be able to do relevant things when they come for the project. So this is something that probably they should definitely try and make the most out of what you are actually trying to provide as a platform.
Sure, sure. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Sapna. And once again, we will come back to you if any audience question. Yes, Mr. Guru, you were saying something.
Yeah, see, that was a right question. What Sapna said, it was exactly the right thing. One more point that I'd like to add is, little bit of soft skills are to be added into the system. Why? Because
Yes.
I tell you, today it is really very competitive. The atmosphere is becoming, it is very toxic. So I think other speakers might even agree in the workplace, because of a lot of, I would say, a lot of knowledge, access to knowledge, access to contemporary informations, a lot of age differences, a lot of things are there. So my suggestion, if it is possible, maybe a little bit of soft skill trainings before they enter the industry is really required, especially patience. They need a lot of patience. So patience makes them to learn a lot of things along with the seniors. So that's my humble request. Thank you.
Sure. And in fact, well noted, Mr. Guru, soft skill is one important requirement, whether it is any domain, whether it is hospital, health, IT, pharma, public health, it is actually required to upskill for the students to upskill themselves in the area of soft skill. And without communication, it is tough to actually work in the area of management. So it is actually required not only English language, but even the way of communication, the way of presentation, all those things are highly needed. Thank you, Mr. Guru, on this point.
Thank you.
So now I would like to introduce my next speaker, Dr. Arpita Agrawal. Dr. Arpita, are you there? If you can please turn on your camera.
Yeah, hi, good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, hi, good evening, Arpita. So a very quick introduction for Dr. Arpita Agrawal. So Dr. Arpita Agrawal is one of the very proud alumni of IIHMR group, and she is associated presently with National Health System Resource Center as a consultant in the quality division. And as a background, she is a dental surgeon, and she has also completed her post-graduation in hospital and healthcare management. She has more than 5 years of experience in the field of health systems, specifically in the area of quality improvement. And she is actually playing like a kind of lead role in terms of improving the quality and patient safety division for public health hospital with the help of NQAS, Alakshya, Muskan, and many other similar types of program. So welcome, Dr. Arpita, on board. We are very happy to see you after a very, very long time. So Dr. Arpita, if you can just highlight about yourself, your journey after post-graduation, what was the key learnings, how you have worked, and then presently, where are you, how these courses helped you. So if you can just talk on these lines. Yeah.
First of all, thank you so much, ma'am, for inviting me as a panelist or as an expert for the IIHMR. Being an IIHMR alumni is always a proud moment for me. Like whenever I go, even ministry in anywhere, I always found that IIHMR people are always there. So it's like omnipresent.
Yes.
So, and that is a quite good balance of the thing that IHMR always maintains. Like I heard Guru Prasad sir also and Sapna ma'am also, they are now leading their industries and having a vast experience. And like I am having not very good experience, but yes, good experience in public health. So that is a quite mix of, the experts, the mentors that you get at IHMR. So I think that you get nowhere. So I have been associated with many academic institutions. The course that I have learned from the IHMR has really laid a very good path for me in the public health management, because what we learn in the books that is a completely different picture that we receive when we are on the field, especially when I talk in terms of the public health. So when you come to IHMR, from here, I joined National Health System Resource Center as fellow. But with the learnings that I have culminated from IHMR, that has really laid a very beautiful path for me in Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Here I'm now working as a consultant. So, when you are in the public health management, it is not only about, national health programs and talking about learning, reading them, but it is about actual implementation. You do the research. So IHMR has really led a very good course curriculum, which not only talks about the theory part, but also led you to, imbibe certain practical knowledge also when you are on the field. Because, reading is something, one thing, which anyone can do. But how to implement that knowledge, how to, you know, go on the field and do something, which is a one very good thing that is about the IHMR. Because at public health management, it is not only about writing documents, writing the policies, because it is also about doing the research. So one thing that is very good at IHMR is the research methodology. So you do research, you do imbibe some knowledge from the field, nationally, internationally, then you carve out the policies, you do customize for the states. So beside having a knowledge of the public health, it is very important to learn something about research, because anywhere you go, be it is about the sales, marketing, going to the hospital, implementing the operationals and other things, research is something which is very important and very, fruitful. So research methodology, I feel, is really helped me a lot in understanding the public health management. And beside this, what are the strategies, what will work, what will not work? That is also one of the very important aspects when you are in the public health management. Because whatever you draft initially, it is a la carte, it is only for the national level. But when you go on the field, you strategize, you do understand that what will work at one state, what will not work at another state, because like health is again a state subject. So strategic management at IHMR has really helped us to understand that how to formalize the strategies, how to implement those strategies, how to customize. So these are few important things which I think IHMR taught us very well. So being an IHMR alumni, these are the courses which I have learned over a period of time, and I have tried to, always implement the learning that I have acquired from the IHMR. And beside this, yes, strategies, policies, data analysis. Like, I think being, young professionals, young youth, data analysis and how to represent the data, that is also one of the very important aspect. Because whatever you are formulating, whatever you are implementing, if you are not able to cull out the information out of those strategies, it's of no use. So like Prasad sir has also highlighted the importance of the soft skills. So data analysis is one thing, but how to represent that data, from starting to the top management to the community for which you are working, that is also very important. So I think the course is very beautifully crafted in IHMR, that it also lead you to understand how the data could be represented. Because sometimes you will get the positive findings, sometimes you will get the negative findings, but how to represent that negative findings so that actually you can get some information, you can change the policy without offending your top management, your bureaucrats, and also for the benefit of the mass. So that is also one of the important skill which I have learned from the IHMR. And I hope being associated, getting into the IHMR, you are also going to acquire all these skills. So just be here and try to imbibe as much as you can when you are at IHMR, because believe me, IHMR is everywhere. Wherever you go, be it in the public sector, be in the private sector, or NGOs, or in the nation, or in other countries, you will always and always be overwhelmed, welcome, and supported by the IHMR. So that is from my side.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Arpita. But one point I really want you to emphasize, for example, when it comes to hospital, health IT, pharma, it's quite clear. But when it's come to public health, it's really problematic for students to understand how public health work or what is the significance of working in the public health industry. So if you can really talk on what are what is this domain all about and how it is contributing in the growth part of the healthcare sector of India.
Yeah. So, like ma'am, you said earlier, there was a very, less amount of the public health that was catering to the Indian population. But like if you go into the data that is recently published by the government of India, now people are actually using the public healthcare facilities. For an example, if I took a very recent example of this pandemic COVID-19, the public health has come into a, large on the forefront, because obviously private sector has definitely played a very crucial role, but again, initially it was the public health facilities which was providing all the, medical aid to the community and other things. So like for the private, public also deals with, beside providing the health care to the patient, but it also, imbibe the portion of the supply chain management. It also deals with the pharma industry. It also deals with the IT sector. Right now, health ID is coming like a boom, because we all know that this IIHMR Bharat digital health mission is coming. So everyone is asked to prepare their health ID. So again, public health management is something which also, I'm a doctor. When I left my dentistry, so there was a kind of guilt within me that now I'm not going to deal with the patient. But when you are into the public health, you can use your, this skill when you are into the public health, because you might not be directly providing the care to the patient, but when you develop the policies, you develop the guidelines, so there is a portion of, your these expertise which really comes into the picture. So like I gave you an example of this, we all have heard about the Indian public health standards, right? So IPHS is not only about which, craft the HR requirement, but also talks about what all medicines should be available at the public health facilities. So being me as a clinician, as a public health management expert, so I think somehow we are able to give our inputs for the benefit of the mass. So providing the health, providing, the right, starting from formulating the policies, strategizing those policies, then implementing those policies, then doing kind of data analysis, research, data presentation. So I think public health is something which allows you to move from public to the private, because again, in the private, we talk about provision of the healthcare services, we talk about the supply chain management, we talk about the marketing. So public health people can, go anywhere. So public health gives a lot of opportunities, and many opportunities are coming, because definitely public health services utilization has increased manifold. If I talk in terms of the number, very recently this NSSO data has been published, which says now the public health facilities utilization has increased rapidly from, this 25% to 36%. So definitely people are coming, because we are providing quality services, we are talking about the safety of the patient, we are trying to engage the patient in their own care, because ultimately the ultimate outcome that as a clinician, as a public health management expert, or as a human, we want the ultimate that benefit to the mass, benefit to the population. So
yeah. Yeah, in
it's
fact,
all about.
rightly said, Dr. Arpita, because in fact, hospital, health IT, all comes under the umbrella of public health, because
Yes, ma'am.
anyhow, public health objective is to serve the mass, and very rightly, the example shared by you regarding COVID, and we have seen that right from national level till village level, how we all were successful in terms of controlling the pandemic last year only. So thank you so much, Dr. Arpita. I think one question on screen: how will healthcare industry develop in the next 5 to 10 years? Okay, so Darshan, I will address this question, but let me introduce the next panelist first, and I will come back to you with your question. Thank you, Dr. Arpita, and once again, I'll come back to you on this. So let me introduce the next panelist for today, Mr. Mukund Kulkarni. Yeah. So Mr. Mukund Kulkarni is associated with IIHMR Bangalore for a longer period of time, and he plays instrumental role in terms of developing the health IT students at IIHMR Bangalore. In the present capacity, he is associated with Landmark Healthcare as a Director Quality, and he's a BE graduate in Electrical and Electronics, and then he has done his Masters in Hospital and Healthcare Management. He's an IT professional having experience of more than 20 years, and his expertise in the area of quality, regulatory, verification and validation, business and requirement analysis. So with this, welcome, Mr. Kulkarni, and we are really grateful that you have joined us today. So can you please talk about like what is health IT? Like we have seen in the case of Arpita that what is public health and how it is helping us in the development of the healthcare industry and why it is important for the student. So in the similar way, again, there are a lot of questions from the student side regarding the healthcare IT, how it works, how it plays important role, why people are talking that there is a booming part going on in the healthcare industry. So if you can just highlight on those parts. So over to you, Mr. Kulkarni.
Thanks, Dr. Kirti, for that introduction. Okay, to put it in very simple words, until now, most of the hospitals, right, it could be the smaller, mid-sized hospital, large-sized hospitals, most of them have been paper-based in terms of the complete workflows, right? But now with the advent of IT, which started off in the 80s and 90s and now in the 2000s, there's a lot of focus on optimizing it, right? I mean, we are trying to bring in all the, the software part into the hospitals or the healthcare systems so that we can optimize it. Not only optimize it, we can make it as efficient as possible and ensure that we give a, I would say a good, not only just a reactive kind of a treatment, but also a proactive kind of a treatment to the patients. So having said that, right, so what exactly is healthcare IT? So one is, of course, bringing in the software aspects of it, but also nowadays, there is a lot of focus on the preventive healthcare, right? I mean, most of you might have learned of data analytics, and you might have learned of machine learning or artificial intelligence and all that. So even here, what we are doing is we are trying to get the IT aspects of it, wherein most of these hospitals will have huge amount of data. So we are trying to mine this data, try to bring up some solutions which will help the patients, especially like, let's say, with the COVID and all those kind of diseases coming in. So it will really help us. One is to optimize the care and also to make sure that we take some proactive steps in terms of how to treat the patients, how to ensure that, the right care is given. So then now the buzzword is anything got to do with data, right? I mean, you might have heard of, let's say, as I told you, machine learning, artificial intelligence, everything is got to do with data. So data plays a crucial role. So in most of these hospitals, they have a wealth of data. It could be like terabytes of data. So IT plays a very major role in how we basically use this data. So that's about a very nutshell kind of this one about IT.
So over here, I would like to take up one audience question from Abhishek, and this question is related to health IT only. And he wants to know what type of work profile we get as a healthcare IT professional. So if you can just talk the different kind of work profile, which generally our students are working in the domain of healthcare IT, Mr. Kulkarni.
Yeah. So one of the misconceptions maybe I would want to clear is that IT is not about just coding, learning languages like Java, .NET and all. That's not, the only thing which needs to be learned when you come to IT. Okay. So right now, there are three aspects in IT, healthcare IT management. That's getting to know some basic concepts of the technical aspects, and then also getting to know what is the domain related aspects, like what is HIS, RIS, what is RIS, what are EHRs, those kind of things, and also learning the process, because healthcare is a highly regulated industry, so we'll need to know the process also. So for some of the medical devices, we have ISO 13485, and now even in the softwares, we have this agile process, and also that's what we will need to know. But when it comes to the job profile as such, so there are multiple openings. Okay, so we tell that in software we call it as a SDLC. This the software development lifecycle, which starts from the requirements, then it comes to design, when it comes to development, testing, and maintenance. So in each and every phase of it, we require people with your skill sets. So the current challenge which in IT companies we face is that maybe I can go and get a person who is very good in some specific language, okay, or else I can get a person who understands the healthcare domain. But getting that kind of mix and match, right, wherein they understand both the IT concepts as well as the healthcare domain, this is one of the major gaps, I would say, which premier colleges like IIHMR are addressing. So the kind of job profiles that you would be getting is, like, let's say when it comes to the requirement management, it is basically product managers. All right. So you will get a job as a product manager, wherein you are discussing with the various stakeholders, getting to know what are their requirements. Okay. So that is what you will do at the requirement stage. Then when it comes to design and development, we need subject matter experts who basically tell it, okay, this should be the flow, and this is the way, I mean, the software has to be designed, because doctors are basically the people who use it, right? Very busy people. They should be spending lesser time with the IT and more time with the patients, right? So they will be helping in optimizing the workflow. So it is called as the subject matter experts or business requirement specialist. And then there are opportunities for quality assurance engineers also. So like people who do the testing, what we call as the verification and validation. So these are certain jobs. Apart from that, once the product is launched, so we need people who will do the support. So we call it as level 1 support, level 2 support, level 3 support. So these are the people who are the first interfaces to the customers. So these are some of the areas wherein you will get job opportunities. But apart from that, also there are a lot of job opportunities at a very senior level, wherein it pre-sales, okay, helping with the marketing, coming up with the SOW. So all those kind of areas also, there are a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Kulkarni, for an insight talking about the various job responsibilities for health IT students. The next audience question in context of health IT, maybe I will request Mr. Himasai to kindly address on that, because he's another IT person in the team. But before that, I would like to take the first audience question, and I will request Mr. Guru to kindly address this. So this question is from Mr. Sudarshan. How will healthcare industry develop in the next 5 to 10 years? So since you have traveled across 70 countries, and I think you have a very, very good knowledge that how the healthcare industry is growing across India as well as globally as well. So if you can highlight on that aspect, Mr. Guru.
Yeah, see, healthcare is rapidly changing, actually, dynamic. During COVID, people all refer to COVID. This is a compulsion for me to refer COVID also, because COVID has taught us a lot of things. Today we are in Zoom call. It is to a great extent the influence of COVID only. So anyway, so healthcare, if you see in diagnostic sector and also in the other sectors, artificial intelligence is getting deeply penetrated in every levels, at every levels. Like earlier we used to have Salesforce for dominating, for understanding the sales numbers and everything. Today we have got Power BI. Power BI is something for everything we are using presently. Digital marketing, even for sales analysis, we are, everywhere we are using the Power BI, even for presentations. The slowly off late stopped using the presentations, the PPTs. We are having a Power BI and addressing all the questions through the Power BI. That's one thing. If you look at the diagnostic sectors, lot of analysis is being done through the artificial intelligence. So those kind of artificial intelligence are playing a vital role in understanding the disease prognosis, what is going to happen in the post-surgical treatment of this particular patient based on some kind of scientific input of data. So it might be a blood sample, it might be a tissue-based sample. Based on that, these kind of surgeries, in case if we are able to do it on a particular patient, what would be the result of this? That's something the AI has gone deeper into things. If you look at genome therapy, so they are going to understand whether before the birth of the child, is this child going to have a kind of a cancer, cervical or a breast cancer, whatever be it, is it going to be prone to kind of cancer down the line, say 20 years later, 30 years later. So that kind of analysis, people are getting deeper into things. So those kind of changes we are foreseeing. Of course, I'm not going to say about robotics, because most of the hospitals have started doing robotics at this point of time. Most of the bypass surgeries are being done by robots. If you look at urological procedures, Lot of procedures are being nephrectomy, for example, removal of kidney. All this is being done by robots only today. Bypass surgeries are being done by robots. So down the line, lot of changes are happening. So introduction of robots, highly defined CT scan and MRI machines,
Yes.
so a lot of changes. Earlier, there used to be a dome kind of thing where the patients would go. Today, there is nothing. It's just a small ring. There is no claustrophobic scene that creates the patient. The patient can just walk inside a CT or MRI center, just lie down for a few seconds and come out very freely. No kind of claustrophobic feeling, nothing like that. So a lot of changes are happening in terms of operational, in terms of sales, in terms of clinical aspects. So every day there is a change. So I once again sincerely advise the students, the audience, to kindly keep upgrading yourself. Enroll into a lot of magazines like DNA, a lot of medical magazines are there, Medgates. So a lot of magazines are there. You need to be a part and parcel of that. Just be a subscriber for that. Keep reading all those news updates. So we never know down the line when we close and work and come out of the industry, we see 5 years, a lot of changes. We don't know where are we now today. So please have an update of all the updates. So that's my kind request. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Well said, Mr. Guru. It's a quite dynamic industry, and I think it's changing very fast. Ms. Sapna, you have raised your hand. Would you like to add some point on this?
So, Kirti, great insights from everyone. I just thought that I'll add, two parts to it. So, when you do digital, when we speak about digital or IT or anything, it is primarily if you have to divide it into two parts. One is purely clinical, which is like outcome based, like Guru was saying about robotics, about advanced equipments in place, and then there is something called as non-clinical, where there are core systems like HIS, RIS, LIS, Tally. All these are like called as core systems in hospital, which actually helps the hospital to perform the core business. And then there are opportunities in these areas as well for students to actually design a healthcare HIS. If you say today in HIS itself, there is no best HIS that one can actually adopt in India. So one, if they understand the healthcare system, they'll be able to come up with something. And there are large companies who are making effort to develop something which is very relevant for healthcare. So they have opportunity to even join places where there is a development of HIS. There are many companies who do that in India. So HIS, LIS, RIS are called as the core system. Then there are, peripheral system which works on these core system, like you have CRM softwares which are available from Salesforce, LeadSquare, Microsoft Power BI, and many, many more, which actually works on this core system to develop something either best in operations, best in sales, which actually helps the people who are there on ground to provide the best of the customer journey in a very, very efficient and effective manner, and to stay in touch with the patient. Because typically HIS, LIS, RIS, they come with some kind of limitation because they are actually a system which actually is limited within the hospital environment. There are cloud-based also HIS, but the regular reminders, the interventions during their journey, which is very, very important in healthcare for patients, is supported by this digital intervention of CRM, because there is a cloud telephony system also which is connected to CRM. So these are all peripheral system. On top of these peripheral systems, something that sits on top of it is called as analytical systems. So I'm just using simple words for student to understand what it is. So then there are things like what Guru was mentioning, it's called as Power BI, it's called as Tableau. I'm sure that a lot of your students, when they will go through these courses, they also do a lot of additional courses for them to understand what are the analytical platform which helps the management to understand what is actually happening inside and take quicker decision. Because in healthcare or in any business, when you take quicker decision, like you have Zomato, Swiggy, Amazon, how they are staying relevant today by understanding their customer demand, supply, making them more efficient is through these analytical platform. And they understand what actually they are speaking is actually what is happening on ground. So actually healthcare IT is actually the spine which binds everything together. Yeah. And then there are core medical equipment which are actually connected to these system, which helps us to provide the best of the services to our patients, both clinically and administratively. These systems are very, very relevant, and opportunities are humongous. If you see 30% of now healthcare student, they prefer healthcare IT because it helps them. But to have a fundamental knowledge of how healthcare functions will actually help them excel in even healthcare IT. So this is something that they have to understand as a function, is what I thought. I'll just sum it up for them.
Sure, sure. Well briefed, Ms. Sapna. Thank you so much. So before I take up the next audience question, let me introduce the next speaker for today, Mr. Hemasai. Mr. Hemasai, can you please turn on your camera? I will request you. Okay, so Mr. Hemasai is associated with Atma Tech, and he's a big time supporting Narayana Health Group in terms of healthcare IT. He's working as a business product manager. So again, Mr. Hemasai is a BTech graduate from Godavari Institute of Engineering and Technology, and he has more than 15 plus years of experience. He's an experienced product manager with a demonstrated history of working in the hospital and healthcare industry. And he is expert in the field of product lifecycle, change management, healthcare leadership, data analysis, and strategic planning. So if you can see one of the audience question, Mr. Hemasai, that what are the skills we should learn before entering into the healthcare IT field? I think one answer which is commonly said by all the panelists, that is communication and data analytical skills. So I will again request you if you can add more on this. What skills are actually required to actually support our postgraduate student they should learn during this period, which can actually help them in terms of working in the healthcare IT. So over to you, Mr. Hemasai, and welcome on board.
Yeah, I think by now everybody understood what is the major context of health IT that is going. Mr. Guru started with digital marketing, AI, and everything, and Ms. Sapna again came with digital experience. So, major shift, paradigm shift. What is happening in the industry is we were talking for almost a decade before is optimization of whatever existing resources. With the resources what we can do, and now we are no more talking about optimization of resources because my resource generation is very slow. I need to wait for a decade to create a one qualified doctor, 7 years to a nurse. So that is where the whole transformation coming and the whole buzz is coming towards IT. And what skills? To be honestly speaking, we don't need a core developers or coders because now AI can do that very easily. We need translators. That's it. Because healthcare system is very complex where doctor cannot explain what exactly he need because his time is very precious. He's more focused on patient care. Somebody need to understand what exactly the transformative thing that doctor need. Maybe an operations manager need. Maybe a pharmaceutical industry to streamline their supply chains need. Somewhere somebody need to understand what they need, explain clearly to another IT professional, maybe who is coding, or in future maybe another couple of years. Now you might have heard about ChatGPT words which are coming into the market and saying, okay, you give me the scenario, I'll code and give it to the application. We need those translators who can precisely take those inputs from the industry. What is the industry need? Give it to the team, take it, and it requires a lot of patience, as Mr. Guru clearly said, to implement those changes. Believe me, a 40-year doctor, 30-year doctor, a 40-year, 30-year experience operations manager, embracing the new technology or the embracing new processes is not easy as we are talking here. Yes, COVID accelerated the whole process, but still there is a lot of resistance because it is not the financial system where everybody just need to go swipe their card or just scan a QR code. It is talking where I'm dealing with the patient care, I'm dealing with the life and death situation. And the doctors who are very difficult, the healthcare system is very difficult, and you're going to the masses. And in public health, you need to take that bulk. There is no other option. Somebody need to explain, patiently tell, okay, this is the way. But once you create a process, once you make the data available or the process available, then you are creating the structure. So only way these managers whomsoever are currently can translate or explain what is the power of digital to the business are the key resources that is needed for next. I would say this is going to be next 10, 20 years because the change is rapid. before 7 years, when we were talking about EHR, CMR systems into the industry, people were not even bothered. Now, if some hospital don't have, or some insurance company or the TPA is not allowing the data transfer digitally, we are thinking they are backward. Believe me, down the line 5 years, what's gonna happen? Nobody can imagine what happened with your smartphones, what happened with your all the other financial transactions or the supply chain things are happening today. Flipkart and Amazon and Uber, healthcare gonna see similar kind of transformation, and there is a lot of depth for those people who can embrace that, explain it to the business, and say, yeah, this is what exactly we are, and that's what industry also expecting from the people who are not coders or anybody who can understand what is happening and deliver the better solution.
Yeah, well said. And as mentioned by you, I think big changes again awaited in the healthcare industry, completely digitally. Thank you, Mr. Himasai. Once again, I'll come back to you if any other audience question. Let me introduce the last speaker for the day, Mr. Pankaj Srivastava. So Mr. Pankaj Srivastava is a man behind pharmaceutical management at IIHMR Bangalore, and he was quite instrumental in developing the complete curriculum as well as supporting pharmaceutical management students at IIHMR Bangalore. So he is associated with Biotexas Pharma as a consultant and vice president. So Mr. Pankaj Srivastava is not only a sales and marketing person, but he's also a person for motivating the student. He's the person who worked in different capacities, in different roles, right from marketing, learning and development, as well as he has an enriched experience of working in a pharmaceutical industry for more than 39 years. He was again, during his work profile, he has worked keenly in the area of manpower management, KPIs development, and many other part of pharmaceutical management. So welcome, Mr. Pankaj. And before I ask any question, I would like to take up another audience question, which is by Kavya, that will the recession affect the healthcare industry? So what is your view? Do you think that recession will affect the healthcare industry? Over to you, Mr. Pankaj, and welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Kirti, first of all, for this kind introduction. Well, coming back to this question, whether recession is going to impact the healthcare industry, well, my answer is no. Simply because, see, as a patient, you have got so many choices, right? You have got so many choices. The government is also supporting the patients in a big way. And of course, as Ms. Sapna also shared various initiatives, as well as, lot of things are happening from government side as well as from private sector, and a lot of insurance coverage is also there for the patient. So I mean, if you ask me, considering that there are so many choices which are there at the disposal of the patients, I don't think the patients are going to suffer, or the healthcare industry in any way is going to suffer, because there is enough things on the plate for both, for patients as well as for the healthcare industry.
Yeah, definitely, yes. So in fact, we normally say that healthcare is a recession-free industry, because generally, even if in recession, people need healthcare services. So directly, indirectly. Absolutely. So definitely there is not major impact of recession in healthcare industry. But coming to the next point, that since you are from the pharmaceutical background, sir, so if you can just highlight what are the different sort of job opportunity for the pharmaceutical management graduate, and second, which is more preferred in the industry, a general management degree or a pharmaceutical management degree to work in this industry?
So coming back to your first question, well, I must say that there are plenty of opportunities as far as the pharma industry is concerned. It all depends on your interest area and some of the basic qualification what a person has, right? So for instance, if I begin that, suppose somebody is from B.Pharm, pharmacy graduate field, I mean, manufacturing is a big sector. I mean, if you see, India is one of the biggest manufacturer of medicines, of drugs. And in manufacturing sector, there are plenty like divisions are there, like drug safety, quality assurance, quality control. And of every strata, there are companies like small scale industries also there, as well as bigger companies also there. But again, as I've said, the person should have that aptitude to work in the manufacturing sector, because it's a very it's not like sales and marketing and those type of if you have got an aptitude of roaming around, interacting with different set of people, then of course you will become bored here, because it's a very mundane type of work. And again, as Mr. Guru Prasad was saying, that artificial intelligence, machine learning, I mean, that's going to come in a big way for any type of repetitive jobs, etc. So, I mean, the person should have that sort of aptitude also to be working in this manufacturing sector. Then, of course, very commonly being talked about is the sales and marketing. And of course, there are plenty of job opportunities, I would say, for the students in sales. And I mean, right from medical representative, it starts. And then there are different grades like ABM, RBM, ZBM, NSM. Only thing is the requirements will be very different. And again, I definitely would like to say that one has to have the sales attitude and aptitude also, because it's a very difficult line. You have to travel a lot. You need to have a lot of patience. And as Dr. Guru Prasad was saying, soft skills are very much needed now, because doctors, they do not want you to now talk about science only. They want to have a sort of engaging conversation. They want to have an engagement with you. And to do that, lot of soft skills are needed. And Mr. Guru Prasad, just to share with you that even these soft skill sessions, we have started conducting for the last 6-7 years under Doc Skill with the doctors. I've got a group of doctors in Bangalore, and with KRSSD, I have been doing it. And I want to further scale it down to many other avenues also, because you have very rightly identified this is one great arena, right? Marketing is also something which is very lucrative. And here again, a lot of changes are happening, I must say. One has to have an aptitude of incorporation of a lot of digital content, because marketing is changing, and it's not going to be what it is now. Next 5 years, it's going to be the era of, already it is now chatbots, and so many patient services related things are happening, especially in chronic diseases. So one has to have that sort of aptitude. Otherwise, marketing is also something which is very, very lucrative. Here again, the entry level is right, like product executives and product managers, and like group product managers. And then there are many such stratas are there, marketing managers and marketing directors. And most of the organizations, the pharma industry, they have got one position known as BU head, right? BU head will be responsible for taking care of both sales as well as marketing, right? Supply chain, again, it's there everywhere, but more so, I would say, in the pharma industry, simply because one has to ensure that the products are available in every nook and corner of the country. So here again, a lot of digitalization has been happening in supply chain, because there is a sales trend, and based on that, one has to ensure that your products are available in every nook and corner with the distributors, with the depot, with the retailers. And here again, the companies are focusing a lot, especially, I mean, we have seen during COVID, as Dr. Kirti was saying, that, I mean, we were not so much impacted, because still with the excellent supply chain, what Serum Institute, what Bharat Serum Institute, and many other organizations they did, they were able to ensure that even such a vaccine was also able to be delivered in every nook and corner of the country. So supply chain is another arena. HR, of course, as it's true in every organization, even in pharma industry also, HR is also, I would say, a very lucrative job, but it's very tough job also, because it's not only recruitment, staffing, preparing the job descriptions, etc. at various posts, but then you have to take many a times the very tough decisions also. You have to create the performance improvement plan if suppose somebody is not doing well. And sometimes you have to, depending upon the organizational requirement, take some tough decisions. Maybe you have to retrench people, all that you have to do. So, I mean, if you have got, again, same type of attitude, one can come even in HR. L&D, again, learning and development is, again, assuming a lot of importance. But I must say, L&D is, again, not what it used to be 5 or 10 years back. 5 or 10 years back, you have conducted the basic training and that's it. Today's L&D is also changing a lot. I mean, we are talking about LMS, learning management systems. Again, automation is coming, even in L&D field also. So this is something which one has to bear in mind if suppose somebody wants to come in L&D. Otherwise, this is also something which is very interesting. I mean, I have worked in sales, I have worked in marketing, but ultimately I wanted to be a part of the training. And that's how at a very late stage in my career, I transitioned into being a training manager. And then of course, as a training general manager in some companies. Medical is also, because I see, Dr. Kirti, a lot of students, they are from medical background in your university. And medical is also something which is, again, gaining a lot of importance. It was there earlier also, but more so nowadays, especially considering the regulatory affairs. A lot of companies are putting very stringent, compliance standards. So medical is also there, where again, one can get the jobs like medical affairs manager. There is opportunity in pharmacovigilance, clinical trials. So there are two types of research. One research is the development of newer drugs, which will be a part of the manufacturing more so. But this is, I'm talking about clinical trials, which the organizations they are doing. So that also these people, they have been doing. And of course, any type of pharmaceutical research. Also, a very interesting field nowadays is emerging is in the consulting business. And as I understand, a lot of your students, they have been absorbed into various consulting companies like Deloitte, Kellogg's, Accenture, PwC. So these are also some of the very renowned companies which have been taking healthcare people into consulting. Business excellence, again, I would say for last 15, 20 years has become quite important, because now marketing is also very segmented. We are talking about niche marketing. So SNT, segmentation and targeting, market research, again, digital implementation, all these things are a part of the business excellence. So you will find in most of the good organizations, a very well-defined business excellence department, right? With a clear-cut job demarcation of their people. So that's also something which is there. Finance, again, if a person is interested, general management is also something which is very much there, because their job profile will include like vendor registration, procurement of the goods, everything. So, and overall general management. So that's also something which is there. And lastly, I would like to mention, which is nowadays extremely important, is the compliance, right? Any good organization nowadays is emphasizing so much on compliance. And when I say compliance, like for instance, many organizations have already started implementing the UCPMC guidelines, for instance, because it's very, very important that these guidelines, whatever marketing strategies a company is going to have, that should be based as per these guidelines. Because if you're not doing that, and if there is any problem, then organizations, they will get very bad names. So UCPMP guidelines is something which is, again, extremely important. And I know many organizations have already started doing it. Like even for doctors also, NMC guidelines are binding. UCPMP guidelines are not binding right now on the pharma companies, but moving forward, as I foresee, they will become quite binding. So, I mean, it's always good that organizations, they should start implementing that. And many good organizations, that's why they have created this compliance department, so that they manage these, that no such things should happen which gives a bad name to the organizations. So these are a whole lot of job opportunities as far as pharma industry is concerned. It's huge, I would say. Only thing what I always insist is one should go where his interest lies, and one should have that attitude. I mean, I lay a lot of emphasis, and that's one of the reasons why I've even authored a book, Battling Career Complexities, where I've basically highlighted all these aspects that, look, what happens when you take certain decisions where due to certain compulsions you are taking, but then your heart and mind, that's not there, then again, you will come across a lot of obstacles. So I don't know whether it's a long answer. For this.
No, but well said. And you have touched all the areas of pharmaceutical management, Mr. Pankaj. And again, it's very true that you should opt the career where your strength and interest both actually lies. So well mentioned on that note. So that's all from.
There was one more question what you had asked, that general graduates, or what was that? Or
Yeah.
medical?
So whether a general management degree or a pharmaceutical management degree, which is good to work.
If a person wants to come in pharma industries, and pharmaceutical management degree any day will be far more applicable.
Yes, yeah. So with this note, I think we have taken up the question with all the panelists present here today. Any other question from the audience side? Would you like to speak up, or you can drop your message? Any other question from audience side for any of the panelists? All right. So it seems no questions, and we have already extended our webinar for another 15 minutes. So with this note, can I request all the panelists and all the audience present over here to kindly turn on your camera, and we can have a quick photograph. Mr. Lambodar, can you please support us on this and take few snaps? I will request all the panelists present over here to kindly turn on your camera, as well as I will also request audience to kindly turn on your camera. Very quickly, Lambodar, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm taking that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lambodar. I hope it is done.
No, ma'am, just a minute.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, done, ma'am.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Lambodar. So before we close, let me take the last question from the audience side. That is Meenu. And she wanted to know in which domain package is good, whether it is hospital, pharma, or maybe health, IT. So I think package highly depend on the competency, on the skills, what you possess, and how you are working in your areas. So all the areas are good. All the areas give you good growth monetarily also, as well as in other prospects as well, but you have to perform, and you should possess the right skill which is required in the industry. But maybe any panelists would like to address this question?
Dr. Kirti, you have rightly said, actually, any vertical that they choose has its own growth path, as
Yes.
long as they are related to the industry and they have upgraded their skills and they are well connected with good leadership skills, with all communication skills, and upgrade their knowledge from time to time. Every vertical in the healthcare industry definitely will take them to the highest level, and they'll be paid well. So there's nothing that no vertical is something lesser than the other, whether it is administration or clinical or operations. Operations people move the ladder of, say, for example, a kind of a facility director, or even more than that, the CEO. Even the sales guys I've seen moving to the CSO level, CMO level, and some even prefer to move into administration level. Let me also tell you, I also aspire to become a kind of moving out of sales and then slowly becoming an administrator down the line, a CEO kind of a role. So that's how we all aspire. So that I began as a sales executive. So that's how it is. So package you'll be paid well. So do not worry about the package. So keep working very hard. Smart work is required. That's all.
Can I just add one point?
Yes, Mr. Srivastava.
Whatever you want to aspire, I very firmly believe, as he has said, that I was a sales executive. I very firmly believe in whatever field you want to be the top man, you must start at the grassroots level. Work there at least for 1 year. Understand the various nuances, how things function. And this I always tell to any marketing guy. I said, look, if you want to become a marketing manager or a product manager and you want to sit in that, office, not exactly knowing how the people at the grassroots level are functioning, all your marketing strategies which you're preparing, they will go into oblivion. You will not be able to implement that unless you understand at what level, at what frequency they are able to function. So maybe work for 1 year, and then of course, based on your management degree, become high profile person. No harm.
In fact, I would like to guide the youngsters by saying that the package, the money is an integral part of your growth, but you should look forward for your growth, your career prospects, what you should be in the next 5 years, 10 years. You should be more focused on that, and definitely money will come with that. So do not focus more on that. Okay, but with this, I was about to close, but another audience question: how is the job market for healthcare IT at international level? So, Mr. Kulkarni, would you like to address on this?
Yeah. So, I mean, the prospects for healthcare IT is really good at the international level. There are some prerequisites. Like, let's say, if you want to work in a predominantly US kind of an economy, you will need to know, of course, the healthcare workflows. And there are some specific regulatory aspects like HIPAA. And then again, there are some coding standards like ICD, HCPCS. You need to be knowledgeable in all those areas. So there will be a lot more opportunities if you know all these aspects in the US kind of a market. But then when it comes to the European market, the regulatory rules are a bit different. I would say they are more stringent compared to US. So you will need to have knowledge on GDPR. And along with that, there is a lot more opportunities for, I would say, RIS kind of information systems, radiology information systems, which involves all this integration with various kinds of medical devices. It could be PAC, CT, X-ray kind of systems. So there are lots more opportunities there. But then again, for both these areas, right? I mean, I'm specifically picking on US and Europe because they are the preferred destinations. But now again, even the Middle East also, there are a lot of opportunities. But by and large, for this, you will need to know some basics. Okay, once you know the basics and you're comfortable with the workflow, and of course, like what all my previous panelists, I mean, like it could be Guru or Dr. Pankaj have told, right? The most important thing also would be your soft skills, because when you're discussing or talking with someone who is in US or in Europe, this plays an extremely important part. So along with your domain expertise and the technical expertise, you will need to know how you basically put forth your comments. So communication, the soft skills part becomes extremely important. So, but there are a lot of opportunities there.
Yeah, so well said, and we have taken up all the questions, and if any also further, but I'm so sorry, considering the paucity of time, we have to close the session for today. And if you have any question, you're always welcome to drop your message or connect with us on email or phone, and definitely we will take up your question with the industry experts present over here, and we will address those. So once again, thank you so much to all the panelists present over here today, Mr. Guru, Ms. Sapna, Mr. Hemasai, Mr. Kulkarni, Mr. Pankaj, Dr. Arpita. Thank you so much to each and everyone who are present here today, and also the audience who are like supportive to us, and they have maintained all the decorum of this webinar. So thank you so much to each one of you, and we hope to connect with all of you soon. Thank you so much. Bye.